Well, friends, bad news today. After resealing and fixing what I thought was every single leak in the camper, we got more rain. We even got snow here on the coast.
Right now at 11, let it snow. The Bay Area is seeing a winter weather event, and this is only just the beginning of our chances for snow.
And with it came another leak, sprung, of course, in a corner that I just finished gluing, finish nailing, and putting all together. So what I'm gonna have to start this week with is taking out at least the lower sections of these walls and this bench top, which I'm really hoping I don't destroy in the process, but honestly isn't looking good, to try to find and fix this leak again. This is something that I thought that I had fixed. I had water tested it even with a bucket of water and a hose before all of the rain came again, before I put the walls in, and didn't have any issues with. So I'm really confused where this water is coming from, but it doesn't matter because it has to be fixed regardless of where it came from. I'm hoping that I'm able to find the leak and fix it by the end of today. That would be amazing because we're supposed to get another 6 or 7 days of rain this week, which really is not ideal. So here's to hoping I can find it so we don't need to cover the camper again and work in darkness. And yeah, all we can do is move forward. So let's get to it.
Travel across the Milky Way, unafraid in outer space, holding on to the good I feel today. There's no gravity now to hold us down. We'll buckle up, settle in, hold on tight now, 'cause we're going to the moon. Flying on a rocket, nothing's gonna stop us now. To the stars, hum a tune to the moon while we drift away. I feel alive and kinda wild. Pioneers like years from yesterday. There's no gravity now to hold us down.
Okay, so some good news is that this piece, the top piece, came out in one chunk. The glue did hold. There's still glue on both pieces, so I know that it was actually doing something to keep this in place, but I was able to use a pry bar to separate the two, which is big because doing this face of the bench took days, literally days, and I was really gonna be bummed if I had to redo all of that. The other unfortunate piece is what I had suspected. I had a leak actually. I don't know if I showed it on video. I thought it was minor a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago now, in the same spot, and I had thought, oh, it's probably the awning that I had added because was there a leak in this corner before? I didn't think so. But now that I'm really looking at it, you would think, just first glance, that it is the awning because that block of wood is wet. But when you go above it, it's actually the clamshell, the piece that's holding the camper together, that's wet, which is above where I put my awning. And that makes a lot of sense because when you look at it from the outside, I shone so many flashlights down the hollow end of the awning tube. I saw butyl tape that had come out. We siliconed the entire thing. We did it twice trying to fix this leak, thinking it was the awning, when in fact it seems to be the clamshell, which is nice because, well, I didn't mess it up maybe, but it's a bummer because it means I'm probably going to have to take part of the clamshell apart, which is something that I've really been avoiding doing. I did not want to have to take the clamshell apart. It's better now than it was before because at least I have my cabinets in here for some structure and support. But that clamshell, the metal band that goes around the entire camper, and this piece of wood is what holds the camper together, what holds the top to the bottom. And so it's great now that I do have extra supports in here, but it still makes me very nervous to take the camper apart in that way because the last thing that I want to do is compromise the structural integrity. So this is is going to be a very delicate thing that I have to try and do. But before we get there, I'm going to mentally prepare myself to do that. And in the meantime, I am going to take out all of this gaps and cracks that I put around the corners, which I'm very grateful for having done because it is quite wet right now. And I think, because when I stick my finger down below, it's dry, which means that that gaps and cracks did what it was supposed to do. And I think it stopped the water from going down, which is huge because it might mean, as long as it seems to be the way that it actually is, that I don't have to remove this bench or this wall. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of that. I'll show you guys what I think the leak is from the outside as well, and then we're gonna get to fixing. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is it's not the awning that's leaking, even though that's how it appears at first glance. But the bad news is it's not the awning that's leaking, because that would have been really simple to fix. It would have been a removal, re-caulking, re-butyl taping, resealing that, and just reinstalling it. No, that would be too easy. It is actually, and I'm sorry if you can hear the frustration in my voice, but this camper has really let me down, it feels like, just time and time again. It's the metal banding that goes around the clamshell, which means now in order to fix it, I'm going to have to remove this. And you might be thinking, well, why don't you just reseal it, re-caulk it? I don't know if it's the screws, if it's my silicone job, if it's the butyl tape behind it, but I've actually redone all of those. And today I've gone around rechecking, trying to find any tiny pinhole that I possibly can that would be leading to this leak. And I can't find it. So either this water is traveling from somewhere else in the camper, even though I've removed over, 6-7 feet of this banding, and this is the only spot where there's water damage, or I'm just really not getting it, which is totally possible. It's totally possible. But I re-siliconed all of these. I don't know if you guys can see this right now, if it's gonna focus, but I resealed all of these, added new sealant to all of them. I had removed these screws once before and added new sealant behind them, thinking that that was the issue before. And none of that fixed the problem. So the only thing left for me to do is just to try to slowly remove this section of the banding, which I'm really scared to do because I'm worried that it's going to compromise the structural integrity of the camper, unscrewing all of these. But I don't know. I don't really see another option at this point because all of the wood on the inside, not just the wood that I installed, but the wood that this affixes to, is also wet and having mold issues. So that definitely needs to come out now. I don't know who told all of us that these campers were bulletproof. I have some words for that person though. I have some words.
It's been a year now, maybe longer, since she's felt the sunshine on her long hair, and she still got salt in her old sneakers, just to remind her that she used to have adventures. And she's in an office, sending correspondence to the Queens of Sheba in their LA apartments, and she hears her heartbeat, slow and synthetic. She wants that rush, but she can't figure where to get it. And she thinks, I'm getting older by the minute. What's this life if I'm not brave enough to live it?
Well, the camper is taken apart. The clamshell is taken apart on the outside. I'm gonna have to cut off more of the wall right there that's still remaining, so that way I can get to the wood trim that you can see a little bit of back here right now. Not wood trim, but the part that the belly band, I guess is the term, is connected to on the inside of the camper, because it seems pretty wet. Which makes sense, because when I just took the metal trim off the outside, it was not sealed properly any longer. It looks like the screws had been getting water going through them, which definitely makes me question the integrity of the whole camper. I've done what I can so far to make sure that this camper is the best that I could, and to reseal it properly, to fix anything that was old and messed up, and I just feel so defeated. I feel so defeated by this camper, and that's not something that I've felt, not to this level, in a build before. It always felt like, you know, just take a step away and come back to it, and it'll be fine, and you'll figure it out and move forward. But restoring something, I'm learning, is a lot different than just building something. With the bus and the van, I tore it down to the bare metal, or it was, you know, in the bare metal phase with the van, and I just built on top of what I already had trust and faith in was good. You know, in the bus, all I really had to do was reseal the roof, which was a very straightforward, simple process. And I'm just feeling very in over my head right now. I've come so far with this camper. It's literally been like 3 months now of working on this, and of frustration and of triumphs and figuring stuff out, and it's starting to feel like that's just not gonna end. I don't know. I'm not trying to complain. I got myself into this mess, and it's my job to get myself out of it. And I guess right now I just have all these thoughts swirling in my head. I want to give up so badly. I want to give up so badly. At the same time, though, I also want this camper to be our home, and I want all of the work that I've put in so far to pay off, and I love my truck, and I think it would be really great for Tara and I to be on the road in. I guess I just feel like I'm failing a little bit with this camper. And I think, unfortunately, that is going to be all for today's video. I think I just need to take a step back. I need to take a step back. I need to think about what my options are moving forward. Obviously, I need to fix this issue. That is a given. It has to be fixed. I need to double and triple check the rest of the camper that I thought was good, but I need to recheck it again. I need to cover it for the coming storm this week and try to collect myself and move forward how I can. I feel very hopeless right now. I know that I'm not hopeless. I know that I have options, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm just getting to a point where I'm wondering if I keep pushing forward. I've never been someone who really believes in like signs, but I think at some point you kind of have to go like, am I missing something here? Am I forcing something that's not meant to be? And I don't think so. I think this is just an old camper. But it's definitely crossing my mind whether I should keep just pushing, or if this is how it's going to be the entire time. Kind of like it was with the bus. I pushed and I pushed through all the mechanical issues, through all the setbacks with the build, and I just said, no, like this is how it's going to be, because this is how I saw it going. And ultimately, we all know how that ended up. I got to a point where it wore me down financially, it wore me down emotionally, and I would absolutely hate to put myself in that position again. That was what we were supposed to be getting out of. but it just feels eerily similar. So I think the best thing for me to do right now is take some deep breaths, to turn the camera off and give you all this update, and to just really think about what I can do to move forward with the camper or without it. I'll see you guys next week.
Peace in the morning, drink a little coffee till the daylight pours in. Kiss you on the forehead, then I'm headed out the door, 'cause I just wanna give you the world. I know it's everything you deserve, and I swear things would be the same if nobody knew my name.